Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lowdown with Princess Skywalker. I am your host, Princess Skywalker, aka Jessie B. And this week I've got my lovely co host, John from Chairshot Sports. I'm really excited to have him back on the show. Uh, John, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. We've got a lot of big things coming up in the future, the two of us. So, really big things. So, stay tuned. Stay tuned. John's got big plans, and I'm just here for the ride. So, um, stay tuned for more to come on that. So, John, welcome.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Don't be so modest. Jess is my co-pilot. Don't let her be up. Don't let her be modest about this. She's along for the journey, and so are a lot of other people. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm happy to be here. Obviously, last night AEW fifth year anniversary. Wild show. A lot to talk about. Excited to be here and talk about it.
Awesome. I'm super excited to talk about it. I'll have to admit I wasn't there from day one. I didn't come in until probably year two to AEW. So I wasn't here for the beginning parts of it. So seeing those flashbacks and all those things was really cool. With the big announcement with the AEW library going on Max starting in January, I can go back and I can catch up and I can watch the stuff from the beginning and I can actually see everything that I missed and the progression and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that and I'm excited for them. Big things for them for sure. Definitely want to start out this AEW centric show by giving a shout out to Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara did get injured last night in the ROH tapings at Dynamite. He was stretchered out. From everything I've read, he was examined by the doctors and he was up walking on his own. However, I've heard that there are some concerns with people in the back about his well-being. So just thoughts and prayers out to Sammy Guevara. You don't want to see somebody that young's career end so quickly. So let's hope that this is something that he can get back from, that it's not another concussion. It's not something serious because he just came back. And honestly, Sammy's the reason I watch AEW. So he's the reason I started watching AEW. The vlog is what brought me in. So prayers out to Sammy Guevara on that. Really hope you're doing okay. So definitely just wanted to start there. Thoughts and prayers out to him and his wife, especially with him having a tiny baby. So AEW's 5-year anniversary was a great show, in my opinion. Grand Slam was definitely, or was it Grand Slam last week? What was last week?
Grand Slam.
Yeah, Grand Slam. Sorry. Grand Slam was last week. Grand Slam was fantastic. Definitely thought that was a home run show. AEW's 5-year celebration was good. It wasn't as good as Grand Slam, but it was good. Lots of good matches. Lots of things happened. Lots of things to set up the future. We opened the show with the Blackpool Combat Club, if that's what they're still calling themselves, to be determined. With them sending a message out to Wheeler Yuta in the beginning with Pac and Claudio, and then out to Daniel Bryan at the end. And then with Mira in there speaking something. I don't know what she said. Somebody translate it for me. Something European. So that was a decent way to open it up. I don't want to jump all the way to the end, but there was an interesting comment that I heard from commentary was, who's telling them to do this? That's making me opened it up to me to start getting the wheels turning, like, what's going on? Are they doing this of their own volition, or was that not a slip and they're setting it up for somebody telling them to do all this?
I have one name, and I've been saying it for about 3 weeks now. Me and Vinny talked about it on our weekly show. There's only one man. You've been talking about him. You've seen the pictures. Yeah. Everything counts, baby.
Shane O'Mac.
That's it, baby. And if anyone knows how to run competition and how to bring other talent in from somewhere else and make it work and rise against another company beating the hell out of you, it's Shane McMahon. He's got the McMahon blood in him. He knows how to do it. He knows where the bodies are buried. He's seen the creative. He has his dad's blood in him. He knows how to get it done. And I think, honestly, TK does the right move, brings him in, moves him into the right hand of God, into the creative spot. I think you got a lot of stuff cooking right here.
Yeah. So that whole fact that they just said, who's telling them to do this, that really set a lot up. And I don't think that was a mistake. I think that was an intentional drop to set it up for somebody orchestrating this whole thing with Jon Moxley.
I agree.
Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the end. But ADHD brain, that's what I do. So, first match was Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. Phenomenal match, which we all knew it was going to be. We all knew how good it was going to be. We all knew that it was going to be a banger. Very as expected when it comes to pace, high flying, flippy floppy, talented wrestling, gymnastics wrestling. And a lot of people don't like the gymnastics wrestling aspect of it. They don't like the flippy floppy, as they call it. But that was a great match. It was an absolute great match. Lots of back and forth, very well planned out. They match each other extremely well. What did you think?
I agree. I still don't know how you put this on free TV, but hey, I get it. I know it's the 5th anniversary. You got to kick it off with a bang. This match was phenomenal. I mean, Ricochet, I'm a huge fan. Ospreay, big fan. Watched him a little bit over, but now he's in AEW. I'm a big fan of his matches. My only problem was the way that it ended. Was in a draw. I get it. We're gonna run it back. Obviously not a Wrestle Dream, but maybe at Full Gear. But I mean, multiple finishes. The reverse Hurricane Ranas are just disgusting. Love it. Hidden blades everywhere. Ricochet just bouncing off of everything. A great match. Great way to kick off the show. But again, the only two problems I have with this: one, he did it for free. You should have put that on a pay-per-view. And two,
absolutely.
I'm not a big fan of the double draw ending. I get why they did it. I understand it. And obviously you have the interference at the end and the run-in to build up maybe a triple threat. But yeah, overall, amazing 5-star match.
And that's exactly what it did, is it built up the triple threat, because at Wrestle Dream, it's going to be Takeshita versus Ospreay versus Ricochet. So, and I get that that's a good match and people are real up on Takeshita and everything, and he is a great talent, but his pace just doesn't match that of Ospreay's and Ricochet. So it'll be really interesting to see the dynamic that he brings to the match, because he'll slow it down a little bit. Yes, he's good. He's a good wrestler. I'm not disparaging him whatsoever. Takeshita is a great wrestler. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of potential. He's going places. But his pace is very different than the other two. So it'll definitely slow the match down a little bit.
Yeah, and out of the go ahead, finish.
No, just give it a little bit more of a slower pace.
Yeah, I mean, out of the Callis family, I mean, he's definitely more of that traditional strong style kind of wrestling, kind of ground and pound, stay down, not really flying too much, slower pace. But yeah, I think he'll have a more technical side to the match. The other two be bouncing around, and Ospreay can be technical when he wants to be, and Ricochet a little bit here and there. But I think with all things looked at, I mean, from all three angles, kind of getting one piece of everything, I think the match should go over pretty well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. So I'm excited for that. What's kind of funny is this is no dog to Takeshita or everything, but the way I remember how to spell his name, take shit. That's how I remember to spell his name.
How do I pronounce that? Take shit. Oh, I know how to spell it.
I can spell it now.
Come on, man. We can't be the
Sorry, Takeshita. Sorry, Takeshita. Totally just not disparaging to you or anything, but it's just hilarious. That's how I know how to spell your name.
I love it.
Anyways, so I digress. The next thing on there, we had a Mercedes Moné video package. She did her thing. I don't pay attention too much when Mercedes Moné is on my TV. She's not an it factor to me. Not that she's not talented. I'm not saying she's not talented. I've just never been a huge fan of hers. Now, that even includes when she was in WWE. I've just never been a Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné person. And that's just me personally. She's not my cup of tea. But MVP comes in and gives a little different element to this and gives his card to her. So could we see the first female in the Hurt Business? And could it be Mercedes Moné?
It's got to be. It's got to
Now,
be the
are they
first
going to
one.
call it the Hurt Business? But
The Hurt Syndicate is the word going around. I think it's been trademarked by AEW. The Hurt Syndicate, I think, is the way they're going to go with that.
okay.
Going back, I call this the cringe moment of the night. I get it in ultimate heel, in ultimate heel mode. Let me show a great reel of all the great things in AEW. It's just her. I love it. It's typical
just her.
Monet. Yeah, and again, I've never been big on her, even when she was Sasha over in WWE. But she's getting it done. She's doing what she's got to do. Obviously, she's one of Tony's favorites. She's not going anywhere for a long, long time.
No, she's not.
For that contract. And I think that specifically when you saw him hand her the card, you saw that she's going to be the first female in the Hurt Syndicate, along with someone else we'll talk about a little bit that made a debut. Bobby Lashley, obviously, has been talked about signing at AEW, and whoever else MVP brings along with him.
Yep. So the next thing we saw was the Gun Club. They were being interviewed about Adam Page's attack on Juice Robinson the week prior, and they are then attacked by Hangman Adam Page. And this Adam Page, I don't know how I feel about this Adam Page. It's just not authentic, it doesn't seem. He's just not a heel.
It reminds me of like old school WWE Brian Pillman, like just going nuts and doing wild stuff and just for no reason, like just beating the hell out of people, wide look on his eyes and just running around. I'm like, what are you doing? I like that. I dig the new entrance, the new lighting, the smoke. I love the new entrance he has coming out as a heel and stuff like that ever since he's returned. But yeah, it's almost like it's out of place for him.
Forced.
Forced.
It's very forced. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. It's not my thing. I like him as a baby face. I like him as a good guy. I just think that's who he is ultimately. We'll see if he ends up going back to that. I understand where they went with this being, Swerve drove him there. So it'll be interesting to see how it continues to keep playing out if him and Swerve aren't going to be having their feud together anymore. If he's just going to still go run buckshot through everybody and just be a psycho, like you said, like Brian Pillman did back in WWE, or if they're going to have any more direction for it. So we'll get to that a little bit later because there is direction for it. I guess I forgot about that. It's just 2 matches away, but it's getting there.
All in due time.
All in due time. So then we've got a learning tree segment, which can't have an episode of Dynamite without "Hi guys."
Hi guys. Love it.
Chris Jericho is just so overplayed and so played out, and I'm just so over it. And I think a lot of people are. And it's not just the
point of the character.
And it's just so overbearing. It's just like, good Lord. So he comes out. He did make a valid point by saying that they made a bunch of experts look like idiots, which they did. A lot of people had to eat their words yesterday. A lot of people had to eat their words yesterday, which Eric Bischoff had to eat his words yesterday, which was pretty awesome in my opinion.
I think the only one who I think the only one who didn't have to, I hate to admit it, was Meltzer. He's the only guy who didn't. He's in AEW's pocket. He's been on it the whole time. So yeah, a lot of people had mud on their face at the end of the day yesterday.
Man, I'm gonna have an ADHD moment, but Meltzer just fucking irks the shit out of me.
I hate him, but
I will get to that on our other show tonight. But
I hate Meltzer. He comes on the screen.
I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Hate Meltzer. I was telling my husband, I was like, this fucking guy is just a reporter, and he's out there saying, we did this, and we did that, and we traveled all this time, and we did this. Motherfucker, you didn't do nothing. You're a goddamn journalist.
It's the same thing. My wife's like, why do you hate this guy? Because she doesn't know. It's like, he's a wrestler. Like, no, but he thinks he is. He thinks he's like in all these companies. He just thinks he's part of everything. All he does is he's right about it.
Yeah, he's just a freaking reporter.
Meltzer.
Anyways, I digress. So Chris Jericho's segment comes out. He challenges Mark Briscoe, throws in a little dig about Mark Briscoe's brother, which is typical heel Jericho fashion. Mark Briscoe slaps him. Mark Briscoe cuts his promo and accepts the challenge. Half the time, I don't know what Mark Briscoe's saying, but man, does he cut a damn promo.
I love it. It's so much
But I
passion
have no
behind it.
idea what the hell he's saying half the time.
I love it.
And the conglomerate is just an interesting little group of people. I guess they had to stick Orange Cassidy with somebody when the best friends blew up, but it's an interesting combination of people. It's just
definitely
like, can we grab all the mid card and stick them all together and then add
Yeah,
Orange
right?
Cassidy?
It's like a little misfit group going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting segment. I mean, the Jay Briscoe, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see that coming. I really didn't. I mean, obviously, Mark probably gave the okay on it. That was just, I didn't see that coming. But, whoa, talk about heat, man. That was
Yeah.
rough. Like, if you saw the bad apple and you saw, they were like, damn, that's a deep cut, man. But
Yeah.
that's gonna be a great match. Those two have some great chemistry in the ring together. They really do. They have great styles. So I think that's gonna be a great match. Great match. I don't think Jericho wins here. If he did, I'd be really surprised. I mean, I could see some way with making him in Nueve, but I don't know, man. Maybe Briscoe's had that belt for a long time, but in my opinion, I've said it before. Ring of Honor, unfortunately, is kind of irrelevant right now. It's like the belts are kind of just floating along and around everywhere, and people just want to grab them when they need one. But it'll be a good match. The promo was good. It's what you wanted it to be. You said it's cringe, over the top, and you're like, is he done talking yet? But that's the point. That's the point.
Like, get him off my TV. Get him off my TV.
There was a point last week actually during Grand Slam. I don't know if a lot of people caught it, and I should have wrote it down. I don't remember verbatim, but it said something about you keep going until you don't need your friends anymore. Keep your enemies closer, something like that. And you saw Redwood, you saw Bad Apple look over at each other like, wait, what? They like kind of looked at him kind of weird. Yeah, so it's like
I saw that.
Okay, thank you. Now I don't know if a lot of people did, but I was like, oh, they literally just dropped the seed.
I was like, little dissension. Little plant of dissension starting.
So I saw that and I went, okay. But yeah, other than that, I think good promo. It's going to be a good match.
Yep, definitely going to be a good match. We then went to Darby Allin going in the back saying he's got nothing to lose. He focused too hard on Jon Moxley and missed the prize. Throws out an open challenge. That's one is interesting to me. Who do we think accepts that open challenge? Do we think it's Swerve comes back and challenges him because it's in Seattle?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I really hope this isn't a thing where Darby doesn't have a direction. This is kind of, even when they were going to where they kind of forced the title shot away from him, and I talked about this last week on my other shows. Bryan Sin wasn't supposed to wrestle, and then all of a sudden Nigel challenges him for the belt, and then Mox takes the number one spot away. I just feel like they're rushing whatever they're trying to get to with the group that Mox is in, and I just hope Darby doesn't end up being
collateral damage.
Yeah, kind of just floating around. I like the open challenge. I'm sure they're going to take care of him, keep him in a spot where he's obviously always on TV and near the main event. But Darby's done a lot of stuff, and really one of the things he hasn't done is get his hands on the AEW World Title. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Whatever it is, I mean, I hope, whether it is Swerve or whoever else does come out, I mean, I just hope it makes sense and they're not just throwing him on the card with a match because he's not the number one contender anymore.
Well, and maybe they're rushing it because Brian's got to get surgery sooner rather than later.
That is true too, because when he loses his belt, it's sayonara.
It's done. Yep. And they keep saying that he needs neck surgery. So maybe it's more serious than they want to let on. I mean, who knows? I'm just speculating, pulling shit out of my ass here, but who knows if that's why they're not rushing this along. Because to take that opportunity away from Darby Allin for seemingly no reason is odd, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it last week. It was so weird to me. It was like, since he's not able to wrestle, I'm going to take the spot from you. And literally 2 segments after, here's Nigel telling me, hey, if you show up, I want a shot at your belt. I thought he wasn't clear. Why would he show up anyway? What are we doing? Right. But like you said, I think there's something else going on behind the scenes. I know, obviously, Brian's beat up, man. God bless him. The man's giving it all to this business. And unfortunately, I mean, his neck has gotten him a lot more time than we all thought it would. Which is awesome. Great times over in WWE. Awesome times in AEW. So yeah, when it does happen, it is over. It's gonna be a career for the ages. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. He's not been one of my favorites throughout the years. I haven't been a giant fan, but I can't discredit what he's done because some of the things that he's done is amazing. He came back from his career-ending injuries, being told he was never going to wrestle again, and here he is putting on shows as the AEW champion. So, he's doing this thing. He's definitely going to go out as one of the best in the biz, just not one of my favorites. And then we got the Hangman Adam Page versus Juice Robinson. Now, Juice Robinson cracks me up. And lately, there's been a lot of references between him and Macho Man Randy Savage. And I've heard commentary comparing the two of them a lot lately. It's been a couple weeks now that I've heard those references towards him being in the Macho Man. Tank's got to make his, appearance. My dog.
Love it.
But he does kind of remind me of Macho Man a little bit. The wild man on the fringe, just wild doing his thing. And the fact that he's married to Tony Storm, that just cracks me up. They are such an odd couple. It cracks me up that they're married because they're just so polar opposite from each other, and it's great.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that those two are married together, but yeah, great.
No.
The opposites attract, so obviously it works for them.
It
Yeah, Juice
definitely
is one of my
does.
out of the Bang Bang gang. I mean, obviously Jay White is what he is, obviously the gut, but yeah, Juice is my man. I love him. He's always going out, all out in the promos, just wild. You never know what he's gonna say, what he's gonna do. I love it. I love the unpredictability of it. So I just, but yeah, big fan of Juice.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Gotta love him. He's entertaining if anything, he's entertaining, and he's a great wrestler. So it's good to see him back. That was a great back and forth match. Hangman did have control a lot of the match, but for the most part, for Juice had his moments. The spot through the ring barrier was great. So that was a great spot. Showed some, strongness on Juice's end, so it didn't just go all Adam Page's way. And then he starts to hang Juice after beating him in the match, and that gets the entrance and the return of Jay White. Now, I honestly had forgotten that Jay White was put out by Hangman Page.
Yep.
So that was great to see.
The music hit, and that was awesome. I didn't even expect it. That's how they do it solo, and you almost just forget about the character. And you're like, oh, the music hits. Like, wait a minute, that's right. Loved it. Great time to bring him back. That was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, because they had just been talking recently. Fightful had been talking about how he was getting ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't actually have any news on when he was going to come back. So it was nice to see him come back like he did. And that sets up the future for Hangman. So now that turns Jay White, though, into a baby face rather than a heel, because Hangman is the heel right now. So that kind of gives a full circle to Jay, and it brings him back to a babyface role, and maybe the Bang Bang Gang back into a babyface role rather than them being heels.
I feel like that group. Yeah, no, I feel like that group is the one. You see a lot of the characters over in WWE, and even MJF too. If you want to use him, he's one of those characters where they're heel face ish. Like some people always like him, some people always hate him, and then they just run whatever the flavor of the month is, wherever they're facing in a feud. But they're very polarizing, and it's just like either it's one or the other. But you have a lot of people in the middle, even if they're being cheered, there's still people booing them, and vice versa. But Jay White face does great work, and I think Bang Bang his face is mad over, wicked over. But especially with the Gun Boys, that means Billy Gunn's probably gonna get involved in some way, shape, or form. So and that always gonna get a pop in the crowd. But yeah, Jay White coming back as a face is gonna be awesome stuff, and him and Hangman have great matches together. So that's gonna be a great feud.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. That's going to be a good feud. I'm excited to see what happens with that one going forward. The next segment was Jack Perry. Jack Perry comes in his short bus. No, don't get me wrong. I love Jack Perry, but it is a short bus. Let's get real here. He's driving around in a short bus. What he did to the TNT title was great. And the fact that he did that himself was even cooler. And that he designed it, he made it, he did all of that. So that was, pretty cool. It's a rugged belt. Interesting that Shibata challenges him though. I thought it would be somebody else. Maybe they're trying to push Shibata, but I don't see Shibata winning. So it should have been somebody, in my opinion, that would have given it more of a, oh, is this person actually going to beat Jack Perry type thing, rather than this is an automatic W for Jack Perry. Because they're not going to have him drop it to Shibata. They're just not. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. When I saw the challenge go through and he comes back and hits him and accepts, I'm like, oh, so we're just throwing a match on the card. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Great wrestler, great guy. Love him. Does a lot of comedic relief in the back with the phone and the transcribing and everything like that. I like that. But this is going to be Perry, a good match with Perry just winning by a mile, obviously retaining the belt. So, and I said the same thing before. I love that belt. Unfortunately, as you guys can see in my backdrop, I kind of a belt collector myself, like Kenny Omega. But unfortunately, AEW doesn't sell a lot of their belts. So if that was the case, if there was one or two that they sold, I would love to get my hands on one of those TNA belts that Jack Perry did.
Yeah, they're really nice.
I agree.
So that was a good one. Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb was the next one. Hometown Britt Baker. She came out through the crowd, which you don't see from her very often. So she kind of pulled a Jon Moxley, came in through the crowd in her hometown. Interesting opponent in Serena Deeb. Again, I don't want to dog on anybody. I'm not down for telling people, oh, you suck, because I'm not a wrestler. I don't know what it's like to be a wrestler. I don't know what it's like to live their lives, but I'm not a fan. She bores me. Yeah. And I thought for the 5th year anniversary, Britt Baker being the home girl that started it all, the pillar, that she would have a better match for the 5-year anniversary. Because honestly, that crowd was dead.
Yeah, it was
the whole match.
That was a rough match.
And it was just a rough match in general because they're both just coming back from injury. So they're both kind of rusty. I don't know. It just wasn't, for a Britt Baker match, it wasn't as good as it could have been, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It was flat. It was flat for me. I really thought hometown. I mean, obviously they wanted to win, so they're going to give her an opponent where, okay, she can go over on this person and get the pop, and it just didn't sit right for a 50th anniversary match. Even when it was announced, I was like, what are we doing? I thought maybe, obviously, we might be setting something up. Yep, might be obviously her being at ringside, obviously setting that up. I thought they could have done something a little better. Maybe it's some tag action with something going on, something to keep the crowd into it, but it was a flat reaction the whole time.
And then the Queen Aminata coming out to save her. I mean, none of it made sense to me.
And that was more so for Deeb too.
For Deeb.
Yeah, so I didn't know, they're keeping that rivalry going now. I just didn't. I feel like they're like, Britt, we gotta get you on the card. Like, this is where you're from, right?
We gotta get you on the card here.
Yeah, no offense, but
I feel like we have for you.
An afterthought, but Tony's like, I really don't have anything for you right now. We'll just, here you go. We'll get you out there, go out with a terrible towel, do your thing, pop them, and we'll get you out there and get you a dub. But I don't know. It's just weird placement for the match.
Definitely.
That late in the night too. I was like, that should have been maybe 2 or 3, maybe before all the other stuff. But that's just me.
Like maybe after the Ospreay or after the Jericho match, but it definitely had, or the segment, but it had a weird feel to it. And like I said, the crowd was just dead, and that's unfortunate for the women because they went out there and they did their best and they worked their asses off and they do their job, and then the crowd's just like meh. So, but Serena Deeb just doesn't have that draw factor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Then we had a Christian Cage promo. Christian Cage kind of hints towards being the one that attacked Taz because he drops Hook's name. In his promo, he said some hook, line, and sinker, or you're on the hook, or whatever he said. He still mentioned Hook. And he's got a thing for dads. and going after dads.
Mhm.
So that could be potentially setting something up between Hook and Christian Cage. Now, again, that could be coming out of my ass and just making shit up the way that I want it to go. But definitely looked like they were trying to do something in that direction.
No, that's good professor work. I thought the same thing. As soon as he started talking, I'm like, Hook, Hook. Okay, wait a minute. What are we doing here? And then obviously he talked about him not being a commentary. So the only bit downfall of this whole thing is unfortunately, I know Taz will never get back into a ring. He can't because
Mm-hmm.
of his knee, which is so unfortunate. So because the rest of the body can go, man. He could go probably another 1 or 2 years. He's built phenomenally, but unfortunately his knees. But I think this is probably setting something up for Hook. Christian, I think they're trying to bury the fact with Christian having that championship opportunity. I think and trying to have that go away for a little bit, so you kind of forget about that and have that pop up closer, maybe Full Gear, maybe sometimes a Revolution as well. But I think it's setting something up. We don't know what it is yet. Maybe Christian with somebody in his corner, Hook with Taz in his corner. So I don't know, but I'm definitely smelling the same thing that you were smelling as well that night.
Yeah, and it'll be just interesting to see what they do with the patriarchy too. With who knows how long Luchasaurus is going to be out.
Yeah, prayers up to
Again,
Luchasaurus as
prayers out to
well.
Luchasaurus as well. Yeah, definitely. That's really serious. I mean, not knowing that you've got double ammonia and being days away from permanent lung damage and death, that's pretty scary. So prayers out to Luchasaurus also on that. But it'll be interesting to see how they do that group without the enforcer
Yeah.
there, or if they bring in somebody else, or see how they do that, because they've got to have some sort of an enforcer
Yeah, the group
in
doesn't
that
make
group.
sense without having it. If they don't have a heavy, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. um and then we go to an interesting promo with Mariah May talking about Willow Nightingale. Now, I didn't know that Willow Nightingale was in line for a title shot, so
Yes.
I missed that somewhere. um was it on
Two
Collision?
2 weeks ago on Collision, I believe.
That's why, because I'm usually busy on Saturdays and don't
Okay.
catch
I
Collision.
could be
So,
wrong. I could be wrong. For anyone who knows and fact checking me, I believe it was on Collision, announced Wednesday onto Collision. That's where she got her title shot.
okay. So that's interesting. I love Willow Nightingale. She's been on the heels calls before, and she's just absolutely phenomenal. That bubbly personality is just who she is. And that's who she is on the heels calls too. Um, so I love her. Mariah May is kind of meh, to be honest. Right now, her title reign has been meh. Um, it has to bring back Tony or Mira Shikawa. Someone's got to come back. Mina, yeah, has to come back and bring some life into this championship, because it's very blah for me right now. Um, she just hasn't
Yeah,
done much with it.
yeah, no, I agree. I got to compare it to my guys over at WWE. I got to compare it to the Cody Rhodes run right now. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on backstory with that. But I really hope that the Mariah May isn't a victim of the awesome chase. Then once gets the title, falls off. Cody did
Mm-hmm.
amazing for 2 years chasing Roman, got the belt. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Now it's kind of flat. Obviously, they have a lot of the stuff going on there, a lot of backstory. It's probably going to start something at Bad Blood. So it's kind of a different animal, but I do like it to where Cody hasn't done anything really to go, wow, what a title run. Great win. Wow, what have you done for me lately? Like not for nothing,
Mm-hmm.
ratings are down, especially with SmackDown moving over to USA. So it's something to look at. But I hope she's not a victim of that. I hope, like you said, obviously anytime you're gonna bring Mirna back, don't tempt me with a good time. And Tony Storm
Yeah,
obviously on TV is good for everybody. But I really hope this isn't a victim of. She's a great chaser, but when she is champion, it falls flat.
yeah. That's kind of what I'm hoping doesn't happen too, because they built her up so much with the feud with Tony Storm, and that
Phenomenally.
feud was phenomenal. It was beautiful. It was perfect work. Chef's kiss to it. But now that Tony's not around, what does Mina do? Or what does Mariah do?
Yeah, it's almost like she's just sitting
Sh-
around watching people. It's like, what are you doing?
Exactly. She
You
doesn't
know
have
it.
Tony to bounce off of. So it's
Mhm.
almost like Tony was her muse.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
So the next one was just a filler match, Private Party versus the Iron Savages.
Yep.
I think it's only like the third time I've ever seen the Iron Savages. Pretty quick victory for
That,
Private Party.
that might be too many.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this?
There's some comedic relief, man. I'm telling you, they're like it's wild what they do. It's wild stuff.
Speaking of comedic relief, I heard that Miz turned on R-Truth. Is that
He
true?
did. He did. He
Oh, how do
did.
you do R-Truth like that?
Listen, Miz has been faced for too long. He's probably done it a year too long, and yeah, they needed to do it. They needed to do it, man. And truth is always good. Like truth is just good when those two together, heel and face, are just great together in the ring. And it's just
Mhm.
like it's also a lot of it's an undertone too, to carry and cross. So this will be the third pairing that he's gotten involved in and talked to that have broken up and gotten into fights. So there's an understory building, probably another couple months. Did it to the New Day. He did it to Awesome Truth. I forgot. He's starting to do it to American Made. It's an underlying for carrying kind of. So when he does have this singles run, he gets away from Final Testament. He's going to come away as like being like the ultimate manipulator, cerebral assassin kind of thing. So, but anyway, I digress. But yeah, no. So
Anyways.
he did turn. He did turn. They'll probably have a match either on Raw, probably something at Survivor Series.
Oh, poor Truth. I
Yeah,
love that guy.
national treasure. He needs to be protected at all costs, man. I
At
love
all
our
costs. Love
all
that
costs.
dude. He follows me on X and I about died when he followed me
Yes,
that day. I was like, yes, this is the best thing ever.
that's awesome.
Um, but Private Party comes out and they put on a pretty damn good promo. Um, that was a really good promo from Private Party.
Agreed.
You don't hear them talk very much. You don't hear them, they don't get much TV time other than just a filler match here or there. So it was nice to see them come out. They challenged the Young Bucks, and they have beat the Young Bucks before. So that would have been a really good match to see. I thought it was interesting that the Young Bucks weren't booked on the 5-year anniversary. So I was glad that they incorporated them in one way or another to the show, at least. So that was awesome. Um, they came out, pretended like they were going to do a match, and then declined, said they didn't want to waste their appearances in Pittsburgh.
We have a limited amount of dates. We're not wasting them here in Pittsburgh. I was like, that's a great line.
Yeah, why would you want
Love
to
it.
waste anything in Pittsburgh?
For real, right? Oh man. I liked it. I think it's good. Obviously, it sets up a match on Collision, with Private Party, Shibata, and then Young Bucks, and obviously Perry. So that'll be a good match. I like how they kind of segue into Collision and kind of build. It reminds me of the Raw SmackDown
Mhm.
dynamic. Things happen, kick it out to the next show, kind of get people to follow it and watch it. So I like that. That was cool. It's gonna be a good match. It's good, but the Bucks is they're holding those belts for too long, man. It's just
Yeah, they got to drop the belts.
getting to that point, man. We talked about this. We're getting to this point, man. I get it, but dude, drop the belts. It's not cool.
Drop.
I'm dealing with all.
Elevate your tag team division.
Yeah, it is just like in WWE, same thing over on Raw. I got Judgment Day holding these belts for 100 days in one defense. Drop the belts. Drop the belts. Like I don't use the gold as a way to. No, I don't like that at all. At either company, that sucks. Don't do that.
Right,
Let the
and it's
tag.
just
Go ahead.
it's holding the tag team division hostage.
Yep. And it's a Judgment Day. They're doing their thing anyway with Rhea and Liv. You don't need the tag belts. Get rid of the belts. Give it to somebody who can let those guys wrestle because you're taking away all those tag teams. Tag team has never been the same since the Attitude Era, man. It just
No.
hasn't been the same. Vince killed it. Triple H is doing his best to bring it back. It's not the same, and I just don't want to see the same thing happen in AEW. Like, give the belt
Exactly.
up, man. It's just like, I mean, not for nothing, not being that guy, but they had 3 sets of tag belts, and they still couldn't get it done. And now they're holding the ones hostage, the AEW ones. But yeah.
Yeah, get it moving along. Elevate
Exactly.
your tag team division. Considering Matthew and Nicholas are tag team wrestlers, you would think they would want to put more focus on their tag team division and have their tag team division be stronger because that's one of the weakest areas of AEW is their tag team division. And it's
Yeah.
not for lack of teams. They've got plenty of teams. It's for the lack of the fact that they just throw shit together when it comes to the tag team division. instead of giving it to the tag teams.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same thing over in the other company. Same thing in No, I'll take that back. TNA actually has a lot of tag matches on their television, but yeah,
Well, like the
AEW.
trio styles.
Yeah, it's just like it's AEW, SmackDown, and Raw have plenty of them. NXT has plenty of tag teams up and coming, but I got a team on Raw holding the belt for 100 days. That's just it's blasphemous. Can't be not good for anybody to be doing that. So
No,
they got
and to not be defending it. And I love the Young Bucks. Don't get me wrong. I love the Young Bucks. They're great. They're one of my favorites. But stop holding the damn belts hostage, bro.
Let them go.
Let my people go.
Yo, right? All tag teams matter. Let's go. Drop the belts. Let's go. Jeez.
Drop the belts. Let it go. Give them to someone else. And then our main event, which we did have a substantial run over. We went over about half hour into the show, and I thought it was interesting. The one title only being on the line for the first 20 minutes, but that's because in that belt's contract, right? It's a 20-minute time limit.
Yep. Before we talk about that, you forgot a very important segment.
What did I cut out?
My boy MVP. Bringing in the new addition.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Bringing in the new man, Shelton Benjamin.
I got to meet this man last year. He signed my IC belt. We had a great talk. Shelton is amazing. I'm a big fan of his. I feel like he has years left on him to go. And seeing when he was like, "Oh, I don't take complaints." He does. And it was Shelton. I almost woke my kids up. I was like, "Yeah, Shelton, let's go."
Yeah, I did forget about that part.
And that's what I was like. That's what I was kind of referring to. I feel like the syndicate is going to be. The only thing I'm hoping is Tony doesn't get this NWO-esque feeling about this group. I mean, it's Bobby, it's Shelton, it's going to be MVP, it's probably going to be Mercedes. I don't know who there's going to be one more guy. I feel like it's going to be Powerhouse. They've kept him off TV for a long time. Hobbs could be the enforcer type, even though you have Bobby, but you need that enforcer. It could be Powerhouse. And they're probably going to run it Evolution style, win all the gold. But I really hope it doesn't overshadow the company. That's where I hope Shane knows how to do that kind of stuff. So if it's I feel like with MVP in here right now, I feel like it was like MVP was like, oh, Shane was like, I'm in here. We'll do this the right way. And they're going to use the Hurt Syndicate the way they should have been used in WWE, and Vince dropped the ball. So the way they should have been used is going to be the correct way in AEW. I just hope it's not some crazy 9-man group where people keep going in and all the gold goes through them. That's cute for like 2 months, but look at All Evolution, and like even when it was Kenny Omega who had 17 belts on him, it gets old quick. But I digress. Shelton Benjamin, newest member AEW. Let's go. I'm here for it, baby. Love it.
Yep. Great pickup. And then word of today that Bobby Lashley signed with AEW. So his debut is imminent. So 100% going to be a part of that group. There's no question about that.
I'm pumped. I'm meeting Bobby Lashley in November, so I'm very, very excited. I've
met him once.
Yes.
I sat next to his daughter at a WWE event because I was sitting front row. Nice. I happened to get tickets from one of the wrestlers. I'm not going to say who.
No, but never give the source.
I got tickets from one of the WWE wrestlers that was in the that was there that night, and I ended up sitting right next to Bobby Lashley's daughter, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Damn dog. There's another dog outside, so he's got to show
he's a paid actor. It's okay.
And it's like this big. The dog's like this big. And he's a 95-pound German Shepherd. So he's got to assert his dominance.
Yep.
So anyways, now on to the main event. The Okada versus Bryan Danielson. Totally get why. What belt does Okada have?
He has the Continental belt.
The Continental belt. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I should know this, but I don't.
It's okay.
There's so many fucking belts.
It's hard to keep them track. How many times I go to talk about either one, I say Intercontinental.
Intercontinental.
I give props up to Tony. Smart. I don't want to copy them. Wait a minute. I get 2 belts out of it. And now
I get 2 belts out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Genius move.
Absolutely.
So
so the Continental versus the AEW Championship. This was an interesting throw together for sure. Okada and Bryan Danielson, but I guess they've got history
Yes.
that I don't really know much about because I was a WWE tool for ever and only ever watched WWE and refused to give anything else a shot. And anyways, yes, Ryan, I know, I know. Shout out to my best friend, which I doubt that asshole's even watching this show. So fuck you, Ryan. um,
Oh,
but yeah, great match. Absolutely phenomenal match. Okaida's a great wrestler. I wish he'd get more serious, and be the Okada that he can be, because he's just a lot of comedic relief right now. And I wish he would get serious because he could
yeah.
be phenomenal if he'd get serious. Um, because he was in Japan.
Hmm.
You know, what's funny is I didn't even know who he was for the longest time, but I had a shirt of his because I ordered
Oh,
it from, I think it was AEW shop or Pro Wrestling Tees, and got a free shirt,
yeah.
and
And
it
they
was
give you the Okada
Okada.
shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. The Rainmaker was highly sought when he was a free agent. WWE was close, but he went to AEW. So AEW's gain on that one.
yeah, I just wish they'd do more. Um, he's
See,
just
I think
it's
I agree. But I think he does it. He gets both right now. He does really well. And then he kind of does the side smile, and then there's he does like the underdog.
uh
He does the middle. Love it.
yeah,
But the crowd pops for it. They like it. I mean, he's a good
they
champion.
do.
I think you might see a more serious. That's my other thing with AEW. All the guys that have come over from like New Japan, none of them have really gotten their hands on the world title yet. Okada could possibly be, I think, being with the Young Bucks and being always kind of in main event status and main event environment. I really hope Okada is the first New Japan, that's not an AEW brand or United States guy, to win the
Mhm.
AEW championship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be cool. That would be really
definitely makes
cool
me
for
more of that
him.
serious side you're talking about.
Yeah. But it was a great match.
Yep.
We all kind of knew at the end that BCC, like I said, I'm going to keep calling them that until they tell us otherwise, came out, and you knew it was coming. You know, they were all standing around the ring, surrounding the ring, get in there, act like they're helping him up, and then hold him there for Moxley. Um, Saved by Wheeler Yuta. It'll be really interesting to see where that goes in that tag team match next week.
Mhm.
Are we going to get the Wheeler Yuta heel turn in the mid match and he's going to screw Brian? Or is he actually going to stick with Brian?
See, I had that thought. The first Susie started talking about my own man, I make my own decisions. This is classic, classic. I'm gonna do it myself and turn on them. I don't need you to help me beat them down. I can do it myself. Like, and then everyone. I don't think there's room for you to be honest with you, because I don't.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like, we can talk about the group when we're done talking about the match itself, but I just don't think there's room for Yuta in that. I don't know. I think Darby goes over to that side. I think, to piggyback what I was saying earlier, I think they're going to keep him kind of free and kind of floating to eventually kind of gravitate back to that. John said, I'm not done. I really thought you would kind of come over to us and be that guy. I don't think they're done yet. I think Darby might be the one original they need in that group, because all the other guys are the WWE OGs. So, and I
Yep.
think again, it was built like that on purpose. But yeah, no, I think it was either Darby, maybe it's Yuta, but I don't think Yuta turns on him, because I think Yuta is the one guy he's going to have on his side. But that doesn't say, like, I think that match goes awry and there's interference and the whole thing goes at the end. But
Oh, 100%.
yeah,
100%. There's not going to be an actual decision when it
right,
comes to that match.
yeah,
Um, the group is interesting, though. It's really putting some focus on Mira Shikawa. Is that what it is?
yep.
The problem. She was on an AEW call. She was on the Mother's Day Heels call, and she's hilarious. Like the stories, I just have to digress a little bit
No,
and
of course,
talk
go
about
ahead.
her
This is the best
because
one.
she's freaking awesome. She was on the Heels call. It was the Mother's Day Heels call. It was her. It was Mila or Maria Kanellis, and
Oh, love Maria, love Maria.
she's phenomenal. You know, like
Yeah,
I really misjudged her until I saw that Heels meeting. And she was on this Heels meeting there for all of her fans while she was at her daughter's recital practice. Like she was momming
wow,
and kicking ass. And then the other one was shit, it's on the tip of my tongue. Madison Rain. She was on that call too. So it was those three.
Hey,
It
throwback,
was
baby.
Yep, it was those three on the Mother's Day call, and she was just great. The way she talks about Roddy and the stories she was telling about Roddy and their kid, and she was just telling the funniest stories about her kid. She's so down to earth. It was just to see her now being able to flourish and really being pushed to the front in AEW. I like that. Because yes, she's being looked at as kind of an enforcer in a way, the
Mhm.
female enforcer, like a China-ish
Yeah,
role is
yeah.
what they've got her in right now. She's still killing it. And they're pushing her to the front and she's getting more and more attention. And I absolutely love that for her because she's phenomenal.
No, that group is going to be awesome. If anything, like I said earlier about getting to NWO, which that group is literally the outsiders almost, but they were inside first. Now they're almost like again, like you said, who's telling them, and they're coming back outside. And it's obviously Moss keeps saying it's not about you, it's not about me, it's not your company, and that's what this is going to be an ultimate reveal. And I swear on everything I've talked about it. This is AEW's shot to really throw a punch and throw a scud over to the other side and really make a mark and get eyes over on that product. You see Shane, you see a Rogue group, you think Attitude Era. And and they're talking about it's just it's a matter of, I've said it before, I think they should make a Monday night show. Take the battle to them, a la Bischoff. I just think it's going to get good. I've said it before. AEW is good. It needs to be great. And if they do it the right way, competition is always good. And I'm for one not wanting them to go anywhere. So up is the only way I want to see them go. And I think this group, with some of the other groups coming up and just the wrestlers, I think it's just going to be a phenomenal 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got big things coming. They've, that TV deal was just absolutely phenomenal that they made. Everyone's saying they're not even going to get a TV deal. They're done. The ratings are bad. The attendance is bad. They're in the mud. They're not. Well, fuck you. Look at them now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a crazy deal where you got a whole bunch of plate, but the money's great, which is great for Tony.
And the longevity.
And that's what it is. It's not even that. It's the exposure. It's 99 million subscribers or views, whatever it is, from Max, and it's just the eyes on the product are going to skyrocket.
Well, and the fact that they're going to simultaneously be on Max and on TNT still, TBS and TNT still at the same time. So they're going to be streaming live on both, which huge audience.
And that's where I think I've said it before when the Netflix deal came down from WWE. I think that's where WWE it's a flawed deal. Because, you took it to Netflix and you made $25 billion off of it, whatever the number is, but you took it off of network TV. You're asking someone to add on, if they got kids like me, now I got to get my Disney, I got to get my Hulu, I got to get my YouTube, and now I got to go get Netflix, keep paying for that. And it's like, wait a minute, I got another just for one night of the week? That's where AEW someone looked and went, no, wait. We want to do that, but we want to stay here. And that is the smart move on AEW's part by keeping it on network TV for people who are like, okay, well, I'm not subscribing to that, but luckily I have cable, so hey, I can still watch it. So I think that was a really good move, and they moved. That's exactly what they need to do. Keep doing that. Bischoff, again, we'll talk about this in our show later. When he looked, well, how can I be different? Watch how they zig, you zag. Be the difference, and that's how you get the advantage, and that's how you start to stack W's. And that's how you just keep building and keep going.
Absolutely. And they're just going to keep getting better. And especially if they do end up bringing Shane McMahon in and to get his creative mind, they're going to get more structure. They're going to get more focus, and they're going to start flowing better.
And that's why, and I tell people, they're like, oh, why are they signing Julia? They just signed, what's her name? I just tweeted about it. I can't forget her name. She's from Australia. She's going to make her debut at NXT. And I was like, why is Paul stocking all these people up? Because the battle's coming. It's coming. You can say it's not. You can be a hater if you want watching this. I'm telling you right now, Shane O'Mac signs on that dotted line and goes to AEW. You're literally taking the guy who beat WCW and putting him in the company trying to beat WWE. It's going to be amazing. And I know Triple H and Shawn Michaels are ready for a fight, but the fight is coming. And he knows it.
Shane can get his up and comings.
You know what I mean? And not for nothing. Again, we'll talk about this if you're watching the McMahon documentary. Shane's a scoring man. I don't think it's WWE in general, but he's got a vendetta. And
He got screwed.
he's gonna be coming for Paul Levesque, unfortunately, because he might be sitting in the spot that Shane thought he should be sitting in. So it's business, but it's also very personal. So
Speaking of the McMahon documentary, watch our show. It's on tonight, 8 o'clock.
8:15, baby, on X, on YouTube, all your favorite streaming services will be on them.
Yes, absolutely.
So I do have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
First one is, I know you haven't been watching long, but for you, what right so far when you've been watching has been your favorite AEW moment?
My favorite AEW moment. Gosh, I have such a bad memory. Honestly, I think it would be Sting's debut because that was just such a what the fuck moment because nobody expected that. Nobody expected Sting to be debuting in AEW. And here he comes up and they partner him with Darby Allin, and it's just the work that him and Darby Allin did was just phenomenal. They were such a great pairing together, and that was a great mentor for Darby Allin to have in a way. So I would say that one.
Awesome. So mine,
Winter is Coming.
yes,
I think it was called or something
that
like
was
that.
it. Yep, that was it. Mine has to be when I think about. I mean, obviously a lot of guys came in to start the company. Mox debuting was my thing. I mean, we all talked about it. Some people knew what's it going to happen. Is it when he came up and he attacked Omega? Awesome moment. Really kind of set the tone moving forward for AEW too, with having him and his, what he does and what he brings to the table was just awesome. That was it for me. And then Brody Lee is obviously a very, very close second.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great moment. I wasn't really around much in the Brody Lee time. And when they were doing the Exalted One and the Dark Order, and that was kind of pre me coming in. But the episode was great. I did watch it. The Brody Lee tribute episode. I did watch that episode. It was a hard one. It was a sad one to watch. It reminded me of back in the day watching the Eddie Guerrero or the Owen Hart, which we'll talk about on our show later.
And for WWE people who have watched it too, and it's just like you know him from the Wyatt family. Now you see it. It hit. Yeah, it hit. It sucked.
Bray was fucking hard. Bray was really fucking hard.
Bray is now. I'm never gonna get over that. That's so tough. I'm just happy I got to be in his presence and meet him, and it was tough, man. That was when I heard that. I was like, what? No, it's got to be. And I saw the Triple H tweet, and I went, oh, geez, that's real. Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's some awful shit.
But with that being said,
definitely. But when you bring up Brody Lee, I love his wife. I just have to say that Amanda Huber is a phenomenal human being.
Agreed.
She is just a beautiful soul. What she does for AEW and what she does for heels is just phenomenal. So shout out to Amanda Huber. You're an amazing human being. So I love her.
And what Tony's also doing for his son too. He has pretty free ride the rest of his life, which is amazing. He's going to take care of him the whole time till he's 18 and take his college paid, everything the whole nine. So shout out to Tony Khan for that as well. So
absolutely.
So my second question is, whatever we talked about, I know we got to wrap it up a little bit because I know I'm triple booked. But so with everything we saw last night, everything we talked about, was there anything missing for you out of a 5th year anniversary for AEW show? Was there anything missing that you maybe thought you might be talking about today? Anything that might be
nothing's coming to mind.
I got 3 letters for you. Where was MJF?
Filming.
Right, but he knocks the show. First of all, he takes a shot at the main event. It was just really weird for me to not even simulcast something onto the show. That was weird for me.
Yeah,
something. At least cut a 2-minute heel promo. I know he's filmed, but it was just really weird for me not to see him anywhere on the show. He was mentioned the one time at the moment when he came back looking a la Triple H. But it was just weird.
And they showed his match with Ospreay where they did the Iron Man match.
I just thought the hour-long match. Something like a promo, something simulcast. I don't know. It was weird for me not to see him there in some capacity. It was just weird for me.
Yeah, and maybe the missing of Kenny Omega. It would have been nice to see Kenny Omega, even if it's like a video package or something like that of Kenny Omega.
Especially being one of the original EVPs too. That was weird. So,
and since he's challenging people in Japan, does that mean he's getting close to returning.
I hope so. I really hope so, man. I don't know. They're very mum on his surgery and what his condition is like at this moment, but I really hope he's coming back soon. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like to flip flop. I sometimes think Kenny Omega is overrated, meaning he's a phenomenal wrestler, but I think people put him on this pedestal of like way higher than other people. Like, calm down a little bit. But he is a phenomenal wrestler, though. He's great. He's good on the mic. He's good in ring work. Love the V trigger, but but hopefully he's able to heal up and get back sooner than later in AEW.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope to see him back soon. But we'll go ahead and wrap up for tonight for the Lowdown with Princess Skywalker. Thank you so much, John, for being here. Go ahead and plug where they can find you.
Awesome. So yeah, you can find me at Chairshot Sports on all the social media, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all the good stuff. Yeah, you can catch me weekly, pretty much 3 or 4 days a week, talking wrestling, football, or UFC, or any kind of sport. So definitely shoot us a subscribe and check us out.
Yeah, definitely go subscribe. We do have another show coming up tonight. It is at 8 p.m. It is going over episode 2, 3, and 4 of the McMahon documentary. So definitely check us out there. We're going to be on all the same platforms. Lots of stuff to come in the future. Like I said, me and John got some stuff working up. He's the thought generator behind it all, but I'm definitely gonna be there for the ride and to help him along in any way I can. So stay tuned for more to come on that. Big things coming in the future. You will be seeing me more. I'm going to start doing a weekly show again. So I will be back once a week, barring anything. Well, I won't be back here the last 2 weeks of October because I'll be in the Bahamas.
Okay,
so
rub it in, why don't you? Okay. Fine, whatever.
But definitely check us out tonight. Check me out. Go follow John on Chairshot Sports on everything else. And I hope everybody has a good night.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Toodles.
Toodaloo.